Check out the links in my description for more information, for more resources. Check out the podcast. Check out the Facebook groups. Just check out the links. There's a lot of great stuff there. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, like, dislike, whatever you want to do. Alright, so this is my Hatchhyack Aggro deck. So, let's see. Okay. Let's push play. Alright, obviously waiting for our opponent to appear. Alright. So I'm playing against a green Frieza. Turns out to be a hand control deck. So as you can see, I already have my Saiyan Scions in my opening hand. So the idea is to obviously use it to bring out 2 skillless battle cards after I swing with it. There's a couple different things you can do with the Unison. So since I'm going first, would have been nice to have that black mask. I mean that 1-drop Goku. That would have been nice. Would have been nice to have gotten it. But anyway, because once I realized that it's like, oh, he's playing some hand control. I got a couple cards in the deck. If I get them on the field, have some hand control elements. That Unison didn't do much of anything, so I was like, yeah, that's more likely for Charismatic than Frieza. As you can see in his energy, he has the 5-drop Zamasu, Deity's Wrath, so it's like, yeah, he got Charismatic Villain Frieza. Apparently his leader has the ability to make me drop a card, so it's like, oh, hand control. So of course, I'm going in for the negating of the attack. And we all see that there was a 1-drop in the drop that I should have grabbed. If I wasn't paying attention to that. Obviously, I want to save my power to people for later play, but I should have been paying attention to make sure that I grab the power, grab that Goku, because that's some combo power right there. So I go and grab my Vegeta and my Goku, and this is where the aggro stuff is going to come in. As you can see, my opponent already took 1 damage from, I guess, one of his card effects or something. I should have tried to kill his Unison right there and then. But I go for the damage to the leader. I mean, ultimately, the real mistake is even wasting any attacks on the Unison. But right there, I could have potentially, killed the Unison. I know it has some ability where it can like bring itself back. But it's the fact that I could have exploited that. I don't remember exactly how his effect worked. It'd be cool if my opponent has to take a life in order for that. In order to bring it back. So I negate with the power of the people. I don't discard. Oh, I do discard. No, that discarding is for his leader effect. So I don't discard for the power of people. It's pointless. It's funny, he has a pretty thick hand. You think he'll be swinging with his Unison and try to deal some damage, right? But this is part of why you could tell this is hand control. Because he's trying to control my hand. He's trying to make sure I'm not gaining much card advantage. Because he could be trying to deal damage. but because his leader helps him neg me a card, so if I take damage, he'll just use his ability to neg me a card, so my hand's never getting any bigger. And that's his, strategy. So my double strike goes through. Let me go back for a second. How much life did he have? Oh yeah, he was at 5. Okay. But that's why the double strike went through. So he's at down to 3. Play my unison. Now, obviously foreshadowing. I should have played my my 1-drop, because the fact is I know he could have a cast metal and Frieza. It's like I could have baited it out by playing my 1-drop Goku and baited out the cast metal and Frieza. I combo up to 15. Of course, I could have kept the Goku in play so I can use him as combo power. See, there's the 2 Friezas. So we know he has one more. Like he easily gave up 2 of them. That means he has a 3rd one. Which is why it's important to pay attention to what your opponent's doing and what they combo. That's how you know they have another one. Like, literally, you gave up 2 Friezas. You could have gave up 1 Frieza and combo something else. For you to give up both Friezas, that means you have a 3rd one. And of course, later on, you will see that I was right when I made that assumption. So, my thing is that I wanted to make sure his unison was at least 1 marker, so that way I could make my big plays. Because the thing is, my cards don't have. This is why it's important to remember. Oh shit! Give me a second. I want to call myself a noob. Besides the fact that I got a playset of Charismatic and Frieza of myself, my friend, he also has his playset, and he read it, and he said 7 costs or less, and it's like, yeah, I keep forgetting that it's 7 costs or less. I just always assume it could just KO anything, and it's like, no, it's 7 or less, which means anything 8 costs and higher is immune to it. Which is why it's not a big deal that my 8-drop and my 10-drop doesn't have barrier, because they're immune to Cast Metal and Frieza. The only thing I really got to worry about is Godzilla Trunks when I use them, not Frieza. But for some reason, you're going to see me not playing my big boy. So let's continue. But I just really wanted to stop for a second and just be like, oh my god, such a noob. Why did I forget that specific ass detail? That was an important detail. And then you see somebody in the comments, they recognize me and they're hitting me up. So letting them know that it's like I can't play right now, because right now I'm just doing this video, obviously, as you can see, doing the voiceover. Cause I want to showcase the aggro capabilities of the deck. So as you can see, my opponent's already at 3 life, and we just got to turn 3. And, I got 7 life. So I was able to hold on to my life for the first 3 turns, right, of the game. And despite the fact that my opponent's hand size is 10 and mine is 3, as you can see, I'm still, I'm still in a winning position. I just need to play out my play. The problem here is, you see I draw, right? I'm obviously going to charge the ball because I can always search out another ball with my 1-drop. But here, I ticked it twice because I forgot to tick it up earlier. So I should be at 4 markers now. So I'm doing the thing to draw, right? So my hand size is a little bit thicker, right? And you see I swing at the unison. Now the idea is that I'm trying to knock off markers, right? So I'm trying to knock off markers so that way I can play my 8-drop and not worry about Cast Metal and Frieza. The thing is, I shouldn't be worried about Cast Metal and Frieza because it doesn't hit 8 drops. It hits 7 or less. So I shouldn't even be wasting these valuable attacks. And this is the importance of, recording your matches, your games, so that way you can watch them. So I play this, and you're going to see what's going to happen. Oh, he has a response. Oh my god, it's his 3rd Frieza, which can hit my 1-drop. And my 1-drop is very important against the, the hand control capabilities of his deck. I think if I'm right, he already has a rebrand and a drop that he comboed off earlier, which, by the way, he doesn't use at all throughout the game. He actually doesn't use the rebrand. So right here, ideally, I wanted to play was my 8 drop so that I can start ripping the cards from his hand, so I could play some hand control, right? As well as be able to apply pressure, because I need to clear his board and his hands, right? I should have played my 8 drop, but I didn't want it to get popped. But at the same time, after the game, I was like, I should just let it get popped, right? I should play it, let it get popped, because ironically, my 1 drop I needed way more than I needed the 8 drop. The 8 drop obviously was powerful, right? It's a boss, it's one of our boss monsters, and I already have the materials in the drop in order to bring it out. But again, reading is fundamental. It's funny. If I read the Friezas instead of just assuming that I memorized this effect and read the damn card right before I made my play, I would have realized, oh shit, I could just drop it. I don't have to worry about Frieza. Now I know annoyance after that, but let's hope I don't forget. Especially when it matters, right? Cause this is my tournament deck. It's the deck I'm gonna be playing for for a while at locals, and I was hoping to play it the Sunday that just passed, but apparently it was like Father's Day or something, so me and my partner didn't go to locals. I wanted to, and I was ready to, but oh well. Shit happens. But there's a regional this weekend, so hopefully I make it to that. And this is the deck I'll be playing in that. So I wasted some valuable attacks. Obviously, don't waste valuable attacks. Swing at your opponent's leader all day, every day. Remember, Casimir and Frieza only does 7 or less. So don't worry about playing your 8 drops and 10 drops. The only time you gotta worry about playing them is against Godzilla and Trunks. Because most other counter plays won't be that big of a deal, per se. I mean, there might be that the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta yellow counterplay, the one with the blocker. That might be one of the cards I might have to worry about. So he's using, as you can see, effects to rip cards out of my hand. Still surprising that he didn't do rebrand earlier when he could have. I guess he's just saving it for the right time in case I end up getting a whole bunch of cards in my hands. So here, I was thinking of charging, then I changed my mind. Like, no charge. Because my 5th energy really should be red energy anyway for my 10 drop. So right here is like, oh, if I get lucky and I get my 4 drop, I could play my 4 drop. See, I get the 10 drop instead, right? But that's the other thing, is the fact that I would need to play the 10 drop if I go play the 10 drop anyway, which I could still get some effects off of it. I would need the Vegeta as a material. So another reason to keep the Vegeta. The likelihood of me surviving is slim, but I am playing Hatchhyack, so I am still in a defensive position, even if I don't have much I can do. But my opponent could, like I said, got rebranded, could just rip my hand. Oh yeah, this went real fast. The Unison, the epic fail on the Unison, because I should have -2 the Unison first, and then swung with my leader, to get the draw and stuff like that. But what I wanted to do was swing with the leader to draw to see what I get, and then after the leader swing is done, then go for my Unison. Depending on what I draw, determine if I'm going to do the draw ability or do the -2 ability. But I should just flat out did the -2 ability. My opponent's board is pretty wide. So I should have just did the -2 to add an extra layer of defense and go that route. As you can see, I'm at 4 life. Opponent's attacking. Still surprising that he's not hitting me with rebrand, which will greatly increase his chances of his attacks going through. because to prevent me from being able to combo, right? If I decide to. So he swings for 15 and I out combo it. See, if he ripped the cards out of my hands, I wouldn't have the ability to combo. Because right there would have been a good time to rebrand. Then he swings with 40k double strike, which I just take. So now I have a negate. So he's making me rip another card from my hand. But, you know, this time it's random, so he gets to randomly choose a card from my hand. So I gotta shuffle my hand. He hits my burst. Which is fine because I can't really use it for anything. And then he brings out that. I get another negate. I'm reading the effect in case I'm like, ooh, I can steal it and do stuff with it, but no, not really useful. I was like, yeah, I can't take that either. Ironically, he does have a blocker inside the field that I could have taken. Here's Zarbon. So I swing, draw. See, because the funny thing is that I had the 5 energy, and if I still had my 10 drop in my hand, I could have played it. Considering the fact that he has a black unison, so I don't have to worry about. Well, anyway, still don't have to worry about Casper and Frieza. I keep forgetting that I don't have to worry about it, right? But it's the fact that I had the mindset of like, oh, he can charismatically and Frieza, but technically he can't. So I'm going for a little bit of a board wipe, but I only get rid of 2 of his 4 battle cards. But at least I got rid of something. He's gonna take damage, so I was like, oh yeah, no combo. I'm not comboing from that attack. I'm 20k, so as you can see, he takes the damage. So I at least bring him down to 2. So clearly he chooses his 8 drop to keep, and then he gets rid of the other ones. And then mainly because I know he has the ability to rip cards from my hands. Like there's no point. Because right here I'm already like, oh, that's all this hand control stuff. There's not much I can do. All my good stuff. Plus I misplayed earlier. I was like, I know I misplayed like 2 times. I should have played my 4 drop. I mean my 8 drop. It's like, yes, I should have, because Frieza wasn't gonna hit him. So I definitely should have played him. So he does his little barrier blocker. I was thinking of using my ability to get rid of his token, but it can't hit the token because she does 3 costs or less and the tokens don't have cost. I can still trigger the effect, it's just that I won't get a marker for the effect. And then there's nothing on the field for me to hit with her effect anyway, so that's a bit of a waste there. So right now I was just trying to see if I can, get him down to at least 1, because I'm at 1 to get him down to 1, and then accept the defeat, right? But now, as you can see, learning is half the battle. You learn more from losing than from winning. It's like, alright, I misplayed badly on that. Keep forgetting Frieza does 7 or less, not just KOs anything. And that's an important detail. Because that's how I can bypass Frieza, right? As long as I play a bunch of 8 drops here and there, I don't have to worry about the whole barrier thing when it comes to Frieza. Man, I really hate that happened. Because, man, it would have been so great to get my 8 drop. And that's the thing, I just wanted to at least get my 8 drop on the field. And start swinging away. Start, giving my opponent a taste of his own medicine. Like, no, you drop cards from your hands. 2 every time I swing. Right? And as you can see, he didn't even have much that he could have used to combat my 8 drop if I actually put it in play. The problem is I just didn't put it in play. So that's on me. Which is important to remember the effects of cards properly and always double check the effects of cards you know, just in case, like double check. Just because you think you know the effect, double check anyways. Reading is fundamental, kids. Alright, so there was that. What else can we learn from that game? Oh yeah, there was this Oceanus scenario, because went a little fast, you probably didn't even notice. I think it was right here is when I Oceanus. Yeah, this Oceanus scenario right here. Because he has this one drop, the Bora that he played, that hits 2 costs or less. Counters a 2 costs or less card being played. Oceanus costs 2 during your opponent's turn in order to play because of her permanent. So she costs 2 for you to play it. Now, to me, reducing the cost and being a cost 2 are 2 different things. But I don't know the rulings for that specifically in this game, like how they count that. Because to me, just reducing the cost is like, yeah, in my hand, the cost of the card is 2, so I could pay 2 to play it. But once I play it, it goes back to its original cost, which is it's a 5 cost that I'm playing. I paid 2 to play it, but when I'm playing it, when I'm trying to put it into the battle area, it should count as a 5 drop. So that way it could avoid stuff like this little counterplay here. But I wasn't gonna waste time arguing, since I'm just trying to make a video for this aggro thing. You know, just show a case with the aggro strategy and the skill is, you know, cards in the deck, how you can use it, and the potential for adding aggro to your Hatchhyack deck. So you can see what the deck is capable of doing. It's definitely capable of doing a good amount of damage. At least I managed to get my point down to 2, which is always good. Obviously, getting my point down to 0 is always better, and because of my mistake on assuming that my 8 drop can be Frieza, that prevented me from being able to make my play. And that's the thing, you know, you gotta make sure, because you know, I'm predicting my opponent's plays. I'm like, oh yeah, he can Frieza. But the thing is like, no, he can't Frieza my best cards, because my best cards are 8 costs and 10 costs, so he can't hit them. He can hit everything else, but he can't hit them. And that's good for me, but the thing is, I didn't remember that, and I suffered for it, which is why reading is fundamental. But yeah, make sure you know the rulings about like cards like this, cards that get cheaper on your opponent's turn. You know, when it comes to like counterplays that says 4 costs or less or some shit like that. Because, you know, I'm not saying that my opponent's wrong or anything. I'm just saying that I don't know the exact ruling for that. For me, I just go with the whole idea that it's like, yeah, I'm paying less to play it, but it still costs, you know, on the card, and the counter should apply the cost of the original cost of the card, not the cost that I paid, but the cost that's actually on the card, right? So it's like when you play Baby Hatchhyack for free, it's still an 8 drop, but you're playing it for free. So, you know what I mean? But that's a little different in a way. But anyway, hope y'all like the strategy. That's the end of the video.